Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another FIFA 22 video where today I'm going to be sharing with you, and you can already see on the screen, it is the 5-2-1-2, what I think is the #1 best formation in the game, in my opinion. Now, I've had a lot of experience with this 5-2-1-2, and generally when it comes to deciding what I think is the best formation, it comes with a lot of experimentation, a lot of experience at using lots of different formations, and ultimately then just the one that I feel the most comfortable in. And this is the one that I feel the most comfortable in. I've played with this all year long. I know this formation inside and out. I've played probably well over, I don't know, 7, 8, 900 games with this formation, something like that. So I know it very, very well. And my advice to anybody who's looking for a formation to play is to try and get one formation and try and stick to it, because a lot of people will play with a formation for 3-4 games and then decide they don't like it. You've got to play with a formation for probably 50 or 60 games before you can really decide if it suits your play style, if it needs tweaking, or if it's just not very good for you personally. And the 5-2-1-2, because I've played so many games with it, for me it's just the best formation because I'm so comfortable with it, and it's the one formation that I play in now all the time where I feel like I'm just always going to win pretty much every game I play in. Now, with that being said, these are the tactics that I'm currently running with the 5-2-1-2. Now, defensive style, we are not playing on any type of press. It really doesn't work in this formation. Because the central midfielders, the cam, the strikers, because generally this formation is quite narrow, it's really easy to play any type of press in this formation. It's really easy to play against it because all a person has to do is just chip it out to really their fullbacks, and they've just got a free pass out. So playing with a press just doesn't work. You may as well utilize the back five and make sure that back five, when you don't have possession, is tough to break down. And that is exactly what happens in this formation. It's not a formation that's easy to concede goals in, but it's a really easy formation to score goals in. Now, defensive width, I've gone for 45. Now, a lot of people might think, well, if you're using a back five, why not go super wide on the width? I don't really like going super wide on the width because I just think it opens too many holes up, especially in the midfield. And I don't want that defense to widen up and allow sort of easy through balls. You're much better off playing with a narrow defense and letting people have the ball out wide and then potentially cross the ball in. You'd fancy, if you've got, top tier defenders, that you should win most aerial duels. So I'd much more recommend going with a slightly narrow width. Depth, I've gone for around about 60. This is a super number for this formation. I have found that when I go higher, it does start to cause some problems, especially because of the way we play with the wing backs. And when you go any lower than that, to say, let's say 50, it becomes too difficult to attack, and it just is a bit too defensive. And 60 is the right number. It just allows me to get forwards and attack, but also allows me to still have a good foundation in defense. Now, in terms of build-up play, I'm playing on fast build-up now. Now, I was playing on slow build-up for the longest time, and this is super good as well. If you're someone that likes to have lots of possession like I do, this is really, really good, and it really suits me quite well. But I've been playing on fast build-up. I'm feeling quite confident in the way I'm playing FIFA at the moment. I'm winning lots of games, and I feel like most players, I'm winning quite comfortably. And I'm playing on fast build-up at the minute, and that's a real big help because I'm playing a lot faster, a lot quicker, a lot more confident. So I feel like fast build-up is working super, super well. But pairing that, interestingly, with possession, so when I do get into the final third, rather than all my players making crazy runs in behind, and then when you do turn over possession, you've now got lots of players out of position. By having it on possession when we get into the final third, it allows certain players to get back into formation and at the very least get into better covering positions when I could potentially lose the ball, i.e. trying to play a through ball, it gets intercepted. But because now my players are in better positions defensively, it's a lot more difficult for my opponents to counter me. So this is a deadly combination, especially if you are playing quite confident and playing quite well. Offensive width, I've gone for 100. Now, the negative to doing this is it does open up the midfield a little bit too much. You can sometimes find that the midfield is vacated and it's quite easy for your opponent to play through. But the idea of this is because we play with the wing backs really high and wide, it just creates so many more opportunities for me offensively that it's worth the risk defensively, if you know what I mean. So I've decided to gauge the risk and have a lot more offensive power with obviously that width, because you need width in this formation as well, that I would rather take the chance of that, because I'm still going to have 3 centre backs back defending anyway, and that should be more than enough to be able to defend most attacks. And then players in the box, we've gone for 6. It's the perfect number. If you feel like it's a bit too attacking, you can drop it down to 4 or 5. But 6 is a great number. It allows the right players to get into the box. Corners and free kicks are on 1 because I tend to go short and work the corner anyway. Now, in terms of the instructions, the two strikers, we've got Pele and Lewandowski. Both these guys want to be on stay central and getting behind. Generally, you need pretty quick, pacey strikers, which I'm assuming that 99% of people that play have got some real fast top-end strikers. Both of these guys want to be on stay central and getting behind. If you so choose, you can leave the two strikers on stay forward as well. I think this is more effective if you are playing on a press to have these guys on stay forward. So because we're not, I'd rather just have them on balanced defensive support. But if you do feel like having those guys up the pitch, if you're someone who likes to counter really, really fast, obviously leaving those guys on stay forward would be more better for you. In terms of Cantona, central cam, he wants to be on get into the box because he is going to get a good amount of goals, but he also gets a lot of assists. So you need to make sure that whoever plays in this position generally needs to, doesn't need to be really very quick, because this cam doesn't ever really make too many runs in behind. They really need to be good at obviously finishing. So if you can get someone with 5-star weak foot, that would be really, really crucial. Also with very good sort of short passing and vision is really important. And then decent agility and balance and good composure as well is really important for this cam. So you need to make sure that whoever you've got has got those two traits. In terms of the two midfielders, Bellingham and Guardiola, you really need box-to-box midfielders. You don't want cams playing here, but you also don't want DMs. See, Bellingham is perfect. Someone like Guardiola is not ideal. You don't need a DM here. You need a box-to-box midfielder. So there's plenty of great box-to-box mids out there. That's really what you need. You need someone that can get forward and attack, because these two midfielders don't really get into scoring positions, but they certainly get into positions where they can score from time to time, but they do also get in great positions where they need to play a through ball through to one of the top strikers. So they need to obviously have good passing for that. And then they do need to have some good defensive, because the two wing backs get forward. So sometimes they're going to be in positions where they need to make tackles. So for that as well, they need to have decent pace. So generally they need to be very well-rounded box-to-box mids. Obviously, the three centre-backs are all going to be on stay back while attacking. Obviously, you're going to have your typical high pace, high defending, high physical defenders. If you've got those guys, that's perfect. If you've got guys as well that have got high defensive work rates, that would be really, really good in those positions. And obviously the wing backs, we've got Porro and Cancelo, both playing on balanced attack, which is really, really important, because these guys do get forward and they do make lots of assists. They don't ever really get into too many goal scoring opportunities unless your opponent is playing with their fullbacks going forwards. Sometimes you can have an overload on one side and you can kind of drag the ball over to one side, play a quick through ball across, and generally Porro or Cancelo is available for a shot. But more often than not, you're going to be getting sort of low-driven crosses, cutbacks with these guys. Hence why you need to obviously have certain players getting into the box at the right time. The likes of Cantona, sometimes Bellingham and Guardiola. So obviously you need to have the right players getting into the box as well. So your personnel is quite important for this formation. Obviously we've listed some of the important traits needed for certain positions. And if you compare that with the formations, with the tactics that we've got and these instructions, you've got a deadly formation. And for me personally, certainly for the way that I like to play and the experience I've had with this formation this year, I personally think this is the best formation in the game. That could potentially be biased or just from my own experience, but I think this is an absolutely brilliant formation, and it's something that I've ran all year to this day and will keep running and keep playing until team of the season. So if you want to give this a try, let me know how it goes for you in the comment section down below. If you need any help with this formation, also let me know down there. Make sure you drop a thumbs up and subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. But that is all today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.